Hello and welcome to this video. Today we're going to talk about something that one of my subscribers called dark twin flames, and she wanted to know a little bit more about that. But it's very important when we talk about dark twin flames, we're not talking about toxic, narcissistic, abusive in any way, but dark more like melancholic, somebody who's been dealing with depressions and their inner demons. So this is actually not too uncommon and something that I have experienced in my split twin connection that was a catalyst for me before meeting the monadic twin flame. If you're interested in my own journey, I do have a playlist where I talk about different kind of divine counterpart connections and then about my personal experiences that led to me meeting my twin flame, my monadic twin flame. But the split twin flame for me, depression unfortunately was a big factor. And I have to say, I have been depressed for many years in my life, since childhood basically till, I don't know, late 20s maybe. And then I had, when separation occurred, and was when I was around 30, around my 30th birthday. And we had one big separation in 2011. And then another one in 2013, and that for me it was the major dark night of the soul episode in my life, you could say. But after that, once you push through that, it is getting a lot better and it's no longer such an issue for me. I don't think I have been depressed after that ever again. Not saying that they're not bad days, of course, or maybe even a bad couple of days, but nothing near that whatsoever. But I have made the experience of dealing with somebody who was actually diagnosed bipolar, or back then manic depressive bipolar disorder. I personally did not agree with that diagnosis because I have known him very well. Obviously, he said that to me, nobody knows me as well as you do, but I never saw him manic at all. I saw the depressive part of him, the depressive side of him. And the question is, why do we attract that? And that's the main question. It's not why are they like this, but it is why did we attract them? Why did we create them to be like that? Because ultimately everyone is you pushed out, and that is your twin flame and everyone else you meet. The twin flame experience is just a different template. It is meeting a soul that triggers a specific program that runs in those people who would call themselves, or who are twin flames. In the split twin flame connection, we do trigger each other's fears, and that of course counts for the other person as well. So imagine you, the feminine, come into their life, and in order to meet a twin flame, you already would have done some of the shadow work. If you still have all of the oppressed trauma, then you're not meeting a twin flame. You would meet another kind of connection, either a karmic or a catalyst connection, to prepare you for later meeting a twin flame or meeting a divine counterpart, whatever the label may be. But you will not meet a twin flame when you still have a lot of shadows, because twin flame is high vibration energy, and according to the law of attraction, you always attract what matches your energy. So if your energy is still very, very low, you will not, if you're the feminine energy, you will not attract a twin flame. You probably will have already done some of the shadow work, and they will see you in that light, and they will compare you, and they will feel a little bit threatened by that. They will put you on a pedestal, even though you may not be divine feminine energy yet, but on the way to divine feminine energy, which means sorting out of the distorted energy and clearing the distorted energy within you. So the masculine would, in this case distorted masculine, the dark twin flame, would put you on this pedestal and see themselves as really, really dark. And the thing is, why would you attract someone like this? And I found this pattern, and I always told you, I've been talking to thousands of clients, and my job, I always saw it as finding patterns, and a pattern of somebody who would attract somebody who is dealing either with something like depression, like the person I loved did, or even, and it seems to be very similar, like I have to think of the Seven of Cups in some tarots. It's like the Crowley tarot, the one I started with, and I'm trying to see if I find the card right now. To me, it symbolizes depression as well as addictions. I mean, the devil card can be addictions as well, but if you see the card, the 7 of Cups in the Crowley, that's the one I started reading when I was 19. Here you see it. You see it's basically like poison. It's 7 cups, and you see it's poison dripping out of these cups. And since it's a cups card, cups is emotion, it's poisoned emotion, and it can symbolize poisoned emotions due to some kind of depression or some kind of substance addiction, for example, like alcohol. So this energy is kind of like summed up in this tarot card, but it's also a bit similar when we attract people. So I was wondering, why did I attract men where this was an issue? Well, for some reason, when as the astrologer I can say, yes, I do have Neptune in the 7th house, and 7th house is the partner house, and Neptune can talk about these kind of things. So I would attract people who deal with that. But also I found a red thread in all of my coachings, and the women who attracted a person who was dealing with this kind of melancholy, depression, anxiety, these mental problems, those were women who usually had the pattern of dealing with a mom who had some kind of issues. And it didn't have to be issues along that line. It could have been, but something happened that the feminine energy, and remember, the feminine energy can be incarnated in a man's body as well. It has nothing to do with that. But the feminine energy was dealing with a mom that either was very weak and needed a lot of help, or was very demanding. And so this woman, or this feminine energy, this person, let's just say this woman, or girl in that case, just to make it a little bit easier, she grew up and she had the imprint of, I have to help others. Why? Because mom needed help in some kind of way, or she wanted help. Maybe she was lazy, maybe she was not weak, but maybe she put a lot of pressure on somebody. And then this person grows up thinking, yeah, I have this I have this helper syndrome. You probably know that, and many spiritual people have that. And what happens when you grow up and you have this helper syndrome? What is when you learn as a kid, I have to help others, I have to give service, and that's the only kind of way I get love. And then you connect that. And then of course, if you have this syndrome, and also if you learn as a child, especially in this case where mom was kind of like weak and mom needed help in some kind of way, then you grow up and you feel, well, you compare yourself with your peers and you're more mature. You're always the go-to person. You're the person who was not maybe the happy child, had the happy childhood, but you are the kid who had a lot of responsibility. And then we have this belief of, yes, I need to help others, and I am more mature than others, and I only receive love when I help others. And if this is a program that's running within you, then that is what you attract. Remember what Bruce Lipton says, we get programmed especially in the first 7 years of our lives, and these programs run for the rest of our lives. So if we get programmed to believe that we need to help others in order to receive love or positive attention, then this program will run till the end of your life unless you reprogram that. What will happen is that you of course attract somebody who is mirroring that back to you. So you've got the helper syndrome. Who do you attract? Somebody who is weak. And I'm not saying that people with some kind of mental instability are weak. I mean, I have been dealing with depression for a major part of my life, so I know what it feels like to be there, so I'm not judging at all. But you even perceive yourself as weak in those moments, because, I mean, let's face it, you realize you don't function normal, especially in these states where you are in a full depression and all you can do is like go down on the couch, and then you get bored, and then you go to bed, and then you get bored laying on the bed, and then you go back to the couch and lay there for a couple of hours, and that's like all you can do because you don't have any energy to do anything else. Or you go to your job, university, whatever it is, and you function, and then you go home and you're just completely drained and there's nothing left inside of you, so I know what that feels like. But if you have these kind of either like also these kind of shadows, you know, this it is dark energy, and by dark we're not judging. It's not evil. It's nothing like that. It's dark as in it's not light energy. It is not enlightened energy. There's only, you know, love energy, or what is the opposite? It's not love. It's not hatred. It's not anger. It's fear basically. And somebody who's depressed is very fearful when it comes to their future. They're not okay, they're not healthy in this state. So if you are in this kind of vibration, of course you would attract somebody to match that. So this could be one thing. You check, where am I energetically? Have I dealt with my inner demons? And then the other thing is, do I have this helper syndrome, that I have the belief that I'm only worthy of being loved when I help others? Because if you have that, fix that. And I'm not saying we don't help others anymore, because we are connected. We are souls, we are connected to others. Of course we help, especially when it's important, if somebody needs our help, but not to our own detriment. If it's not an emergency and you don't feel good, it's maybe more important that you take care of yourself instead of everybody else. Because also when you don't take care of yourself, you show the universe, look universe, I don't deserve to be taken care of. I don't deserve that anybody cares about me or takes my needs seriously, because I don't do it myself. You know, and then how do you want to attract somebody who takes your needs seriously when you show the universe you don't deserve it because you don't do it yourself? So that is a thing. But look at your connections in your childhood, especially mom. Did you always have to help in some way? Did you have to be more mature than your peers? Because if you have the belief of, yes, I am more mature than everybody around me, how do you want to attract somebody who is on your level? Because the universe always has to prove you right. So you will attract, in this case, a man or masculine energy who is not on your level. I mean, energetically, of course, they always are, but they have to fit your belief that they need some kind of help, because you're the helper. If you're always the helper, you cannot attract someone on your level. You will attract somebody that needs your help. You will attract somebody who has that darkness within them, because that's what you learned. You learned that you love somebody by helping them. So that is something you can do. You can revise your childhood memories to happier childhood memories, or you change your inner beliefs, you know, into I deserve to be loved. And also you change your beliefs about the other person, because that's another issue. We were talking about why did you attract them, because that version of them matched your inner belief of I am always the stronger one, I am always the more mature one, I am the one who's always helping everyone, I am the one who's only getting love, or who's only getting some sense of worthiness by helping others. And that is something that you need to address, and that is something that you need to fix. It has nothing to do with your person. So you do that first, and then you work on your concept of the other person. Because if you perceive them as weak, the universe will prove you right, and you can never manifest another version of them. And that is not manipulation. Remember, we cannot manipulate anybody. What happens is that in this multiverse, different versions of them exist, and you always get the version that matches your inner beliefs. So if you change your belief about the person, wow, I'm so happy that they're feeling well now. Isn't it incredible how they opened up? Isn't it wonderful how they are now able to enjoy life? I love enjoying life with them. We love laughing with each other. You know, things like this. Or when you create your scene, when you manifest, you can create a scene that you then visualize. You create a version of them that is past all of that insecurity, past all of that inner pain, darkness. That's another thing. The more you worry about them not being well, you put your focus on that version of them. But what happens when you put your focus on something? It grows. The universe will think you will want that version of them. So stop worrying about them. Seeing them in the way you want them to be. Create your scene, your happy scene. Yeah, they're past that. Create your new affirmations or affirmations. I have videos on that. I have videos on different techniques of manifesting. Pick a technique that best suits you. We do have many techniques because we all are a bit different, but recreate yourself. You know, you are amazing and you deserve to be loved even if you don't help everyone. You got other stuff that's good for you. You're kind, yes, keep that kindness. We want to keep that kindness. But you have other stuff that makes you worthy of being loved. Find that stuff and then change your self-concept. You are the woman or the man who deserves to be loved for who they are, not because they always have to put everybody else first. You know, you can put yourself first, yes, and in crisis, you put the other person first. But if there's no crisis, then you are first, because they are, unless they're your children and they're the little toddlers that need your attention, you are first, and then everybody else comes. Because if they're adults, their happiness is their responsibility. It's not your responsibility. Your happiness is your responsibility. And what's also responsibility is the way you perceive them. Perceive your person as being happy, healthy, laughing, as overcoming that stuff. Isn't it wonderful that they are so happy now? Isn't it wonderful that they enjoy life? Isn't it wonderful that they enjoy living with me? Isn't it wonderful how much we laugh? Isn't it wonderful how much energy we have? Isn't it wonderful? You know, these kinds of affirmations, and then just repeat, because only constant repetition will put it into your subconscious mind. And here you can check out the teachings of Bruce Lipton. You either get into something into your subconscious mind by getting into a theta state, you know, meditation, or the state of falling asleep and waking up. You can have meditations running throughout the night, because during the night you constantly fall into a theta state, and you can reprogram your subconscious mind. If you don't do that, just constant repetition during the day. And once you change your subconscious belief about yourself and the other person, then they will have to change. But that's your job. The more you worry about them, the more you're feeding the energy of them not being good. And by good, of course, again, I mean not happy, not healthy, you know. And then unfortunately this version of them is, you're stuck with that version of them. And the thing is, you cannot change them. In this specific timeline, when they have depression, they will always be that person that has depression. They were always meant to be that person with depression. But then there's another timeline where they get over it in 20 years. Just making it up. There's another timeline where they get over it in 15 years. There's another timeline they get over it pretty soon with a specific method. And then there's another timeline they get over it in another method. You just affirm what version you want to be, because all of these versions exist simultaneously, and you will experience, you know, you cannot change them being better, because in another timeline they already are better. We can only change our experience. So if you're dealing with somebody who has problems, step number 1, ask yourself, why did I attract them? It usually has to do with mom, usually has to do with taking a lot of responsibility in childhood. It usually has to do with the inner belief of, I am a helper and I only get positive feedback from others if I help, and if I don't work like others want me to do, then they abandon me and I'm not worthy to them anymore, and they don't want to be my friends or partners anymore. And that's your issue that you need to address. We only have to change ourselves and our belief about other people in order to change our reality. So if this helps, please help me by liking, subscribing. If you need a little guidance, I am available for personal coaching. Check out my other videos. Check out the videos that are going to be suggested to you in a bit. And I hope I see you in another video or in personal coaching. And I see you then, and I wish you all the best. Bye-bye.